Out to Smith. Missed him. Zorko again. Little fake to Lockie Neal. Long Lockie. The super sub.
Take a bow, Dane Zorko. Just take a bow.
O'Sullivan back to Smith. Well done, Zorko. Beeline the footy. Won it back to Lockie Neal. We thought he was out. We thought it was season over. He stands up on the biggest stage and thumps a huge goal for Brisbane just before three-quarter time. It was a risk. It was a gamble, but it might just come up trumps for the Lions. Smith did well. O'Sullivan gets onto it. Can't find Smith with him. Zorko, magnificent. Body line the footy. Lockie Neal. Lockie Neal. It's a magnificent goal. And what a move the Lions have made late in the third quarter.
Bailey Smith just knocks it into Connor O'Sullivan's direction. Back to Bailey Smith. Zorko comes the other way and wins it. Handball. Lockie Neal. This would be big. This would be huge. Lockie Neal with a monster goal right before three-quarter time. What a moment in this grand final.
Straight to grand final, Folklore, the Maccas quad call. Right, nothing says it's trade time like the arrival of a contracted superstar across a border to meet with a rival club. Christian Petrarca is in Adelaide tonight with the Crows. Petrarca, Merritt, Curnow, just give me your overall thesis on trade period.
Pony up or... I was going to say piss off. Yeah. Pony up or bugger off. I understand where this is going, and if you're going after contracted players and you're serious about it, then be serious about it. And the message for the clubs who own these players in terms of the contract is it's okay to say no. Don't let them hold you over a barrel. Take a stand. And if you want them, if Adelaide want Petrarca, if Sydney want Curnow or whoever wants Hawthorn want Merritt, great. Knock yourself out. But don't whine and dine and, give the roses and the chocolates but not close the deal. That's just wasting everyone's time. So I'm saying pony up or bugger off and stop mucking around. Get the deal done. And there's going to be at least three, and I suspect there will be more somewhere along the way.
All right, little checklist. It feels like Christian Petrarca and Melbourne are heading for a mutual...
Possibly, but again, OK, Adelaide, do something.
We're opposed on Zach Merritt. I think the president's made his bed. He now has to hold him.
Yeah, but I'm saying to Hawthorn, don't give some stupid deal that is going to just waste all our time for the next 3 weeks. If you're really serious, do something.
Time to trade Charlie Curnow, I reckon, at Carlton.
Again... But the Blues rightfully should say he's a two-time Norm Smith medalist. So if it has come to an end, then you make us and him happy and get the deal done.
And the one I'm just as curious about is Jamie Elliott.
Yeah, I'm fascinated.
Jamie Elliott does leave Collingwood to go to Gold Coast. Who's going to be in the Magpies for?
And Brody Mychek looks like he's headed out the door as well. So he's kicked 60 goals, Jamie Elliott. Yeah, I know he's 33, but so was Jack Gunson coming into this year. I think they've... this is not my space, but I read where Collingwood upped the ante. I think he may have family in Brisbane, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be letting Jamie Elliott go.
Trading day begins next Monday in this slot.
Yep. In our slot?
Yep.
Magnificent.
In our slot. So they will analyse every day's action.
I know they will, Jared.
Share all the underground.
When does it finish? That's when I'll be tuned in. Just give me the last day and see whether we got these deals.
A week and a half for the big finish. See who can get their deals done. Pony up. Bugger off.
Smooth Moves. Brought to you by Jamison Whiskey.
There had been questions throughout a sporadic season around whether he still had it. Well, on the biggest day, he proved that he's still Charlie. The very best smooth moves came from Charlie Cameron. That first goal. And then in the decisive phase where the game was burst open, there were 4 goals and Charlie booted 3 of them.
Yeah, he blew it open. He was, I referenced Bobby Hill throughout the call. He just grabbed his moment, took his moments and turned the clock back a little bit, and then like about 18 of them, they were all trying to kick a goal again. It's just the selfish nature of the Brisbane Lions went out the window for 10 minutes while they slipped into party mode, but no, he lit them up. And it was a fair effort, not a fair effort. It was a brilliant effort from Charlie because he had been under a lot of pressure, and he's not a big possession winner. And the ones he gets, he got to make count. So he was super significant.
How great is this premiership? So the train that Waite couldn't stop. They've been our Burnborough. They've played 27 games 2 years running. No team has ever been asked to do that before. And at the end, they just stormed away rather than wilt. At the end of that journey, they were as strong as ever.
Yeah, no, I don't. There's no superlative that's too great. It's as good as you can possibly hope for on grand final day. And as we just spoke to Chris Fagan about, the fact that it was arm wrestle locked together at half time and then they split it open in the manner that they did. They kept the team that kicked 17 goals in the prelim and 16 in the qualifying final to 11. They were dominated. Their back half. If you ask me, what's the biggest surprises, was the fact that their back half absolutely dominated Geelong's forwards in the manner they did. I mean, Dempsey kicks 4 goals essentially from the wing, but playing wing forward, we know what he does. The rest of them just were singles and never looked like threatening. And, Patrick, who was the talisman in that prelim and it was clear that it just took a hell of a lot out of him. He didn't look to have the same energy. And from that point on, it was just, they were labouring. But they were labouring because this Brisbane Lions side were full of energy. And then hindsight's a wonderful thing. I picked Geelong, by the way. But a lot of people were trying to make a case through that, as we got closer that, I think the Cats will open them up. But you look through that team and there's just too many good players to get themselves opened up, albeit, the qualifying final, they did a number on them. But as Fague says, they're great learners. And that would be a great quality to have. OK, we learn our lesson and then Hugh McCluggage goes to work. I know Sheen Mullen and, ends up getting Norm Smith votes again.
So how disappointing for Geelong is the carefully crafted ambush of the qualifying final. It was all exposed for Brisbane to go about countering. They got nothing out of Cameron and nothing out of Dangerfield. And the key moves didn't work the second time around.
No, they didn't. And, there were others that they went, and I'm talking about Shannon Neal with Harris Andrews, which, we talked about a lot in the build-up to this game and who I'm a big fan of Shannon's, but he hadn't demonstrated any capacity to deal with, what Harris was doing, and they went with that again. It didn't work. They tried Blitzars, but I even watched that closely. When Blitzars got to him, Oscar McInerney just came and put his body in the way and said, no, you're not getting... almost it was a will thing in the end. The battle of wills was there, and at half-time it was strong, and then the Brisbane Lions just said, no, we will out-will you in this second half. And it sounds disrespectful to say it got too hard for Geelong because they're a mighty, mighty footy club. But by the end of it, they'd just been overwhelmed.
And it went so it was a point the difference with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And then suddenly it was 64 points. So it had a bit of Melbourne and the Bulldogs about it. The 3 goals on the way to three-quarter time. The bit that shocked me was just how short Geelong's breaking point was. I wouldn't have... So after Blitzarves got the goal from the 50-metre penalty, they needed to hold for 10 minutes, but they just didn't have that fight in them.
No, and you can strip it back as much as you want, as we see the boys going to Mad Monday today, but they just didn't have enough good players. And I know that doesn't sound like it's superlative analysis, but save for maybe 4, I think the rest of them would walk away going under par, under 5 out of 10, and that's... in a grand final, that's a really hard place to be, and you're going to have to deal with that for the next 6 months.
And did Snoop carry the day? It's not just the game, it's everything that's around it.
Snoop is, I suggest, I'm not Snoop's audience, Gerard, let's say that. So I was with Jason, who's much more hip than me when it comes to music, I'll say, and he thought it was okay. It didn't resonate with me. I could appreciate the entertainment aspect, but I didn't understand anything he was saying. What about you? You're more worldly in this way.
So the spectacle was befitting the day.
Yeah.
But the problem was always going to be the music. And I think that's how it played out. Those who love Snoop were utterly satisfied, and those who don't really know Snoop were a bit, at the end. But I am totally with the global superstar for the day. I think for all that is building around an AFL Grand Final, from the fan fest in the days leading up and the parade and the day itself, having the international superstar to headline, I think is a great idea, and I'm supportive of that.
And the 2:30 time slot is now winning favour up in New South Wales from the NRL, Gerard. We've got this push to go into this twilight, and they're going, oh no, I think 2:30 in the afternoon's a place to be.
Just slide gently back. Anyway,